Man, Steve is such a jerk. I can't really stand. Oh, look, he's helping out now. Well, that's nice. Man, Max is kind of a jerk. I don't know if I can really stand to. Oh, look, she's helping out now. That's nice. Man, Erica's such a jerk. I don't know if I could ever stand. Oh, look, she's helping out now. That's nice. There's nobody in season 4 like this. Man, Derek is such a little jerk. I don't know if I could ever stand. Wait a minute. What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Stranger Things Season 5, Episode 3, The Turnbow Trap. So I had a lot of fun with this one. The Home Alone-esque trap that they set up for the Demogorgon is really, really good. Although I guess it's kind of Home Alone turned up to 11 with as... Well, I mean, I guess to be honest, in Home Alone 2, some of the traps did get about as deadly as the ones in this. I kind of would love to see Harry and Marv go through what they set up here. They'd probably survive anyway. But of course, it can't all go to plan, because if it did, that would be not quite as entertaining, I don't think. Not quite as intense. So having Derek wake up because I guess he's just too fat to be affected by the sedative, I suppose. And of course that alerting Vecna to where he is and messing up the plan a little bit. I think it's appropriate. It's a good way to fail the plan without something really stupid happening. Pretty much most of this episode really worked well. The stuff with Hopper and Elle, we're seeing what the military's trying to do, interrogating the one guy. Apparently they have Vecna trapped behind a door there. Don't know how that makes sense. I guess he's still using his powers even from behind there. They just don't realize it, maybe? Or he's using them, possibly. What's weird, though, is if they know who Vecna is, that they have him trapped, how have they not put together that he's the one responsible for a lot of what's happened? Or maybe he's convinced them otherwise. I don't know. It just feels weird that if they have Vecna, they would still be going after 11. So I feel like there's something else going on here that we still don't know about. I'll be interested to see what that's all building towards. Yeah, seeing Hopper and Elle work together to take down the guys and then interrogate the one guy too. It was a lot of fun. It was nice to see them working together since Hopper has been so I don't want you to be put in danger for the past couple seasons. And on that same train of thought, the stuff with Joyce and Will in this episode was also really good. We see Will kind of stand up to her a little bit, let her know, hey, I'm not the same kid anymore. I can take care of myself. I can help. And then Joyce sort of letting him know why she is being so protective. And I do like the fact that we did get to see this, because I even questioned, like, why are you not just letting him even just go out and drive in a car with somebody? It feels very weird to be so overprotective of him when he's not doing really anything that dangerous, compared to 11, who is obviously going and doing a lot of dangerous stuff. So for me, it made a lot more sense why Hopper was being overprotective, but now you kind of understand where Joyce is coming from. She feels like she failed in the first season because of where she was at the time, and the fact that she didn't even realize Will was taken for so long. And so you can see a lot of it is more so the guilt from that is keeping her in this mindset of, I can't let anything bad happen to him. And in that sense, I do appreciate Joyce a lot more now. So I think that scene was really well handled. Erica in this one was actually really fun to have. At first she came off a little bit petty, but I mean, it kind of makes sense. She's still a kid. She's the youngest of the group. So them not inviting her to the crawl kind of makes sense why she would be a little upset about that, not wanting to help out. And also the fact that it's this girl who she now is enemies with and trying to save her little brother who's a little piece of shit. I kind of understand where she's coming from. But then, of course, when she finds out Holly's in danger, that's when she turns it around. Don't mean to ruin this scene for anybody who really liked it, but yeah, that scene whenever Mike says all that and Erica responds, why didn't you lead with that? Yeah, funny line, except for the fact that the writers are the one that made Mike hold off all that information until that point, and then the writers are the one that made Erica respond that way. So the answer to the question, why did you wait? Well, it's because the writers wanted to make a joke. Yeah, that's how my brain works sometimes. Can you believe I didn't have a lot of friends in middle school? But even Erica at the house, whenever she's helping sedate the Turnbow family, really hilarious how she's trying to push the pie onto Tina, and then when everybody starts passing out, the way she whips out the needle, she's like, you should have eaten the pie, Tina. It was like watching a slasher villain. It was so hilarious to see. But outside of that, there's also some personal drama going on with like Jonathan and Nancy. Jonathan has a ring. We see Robin and Will go to the hospital, and I really should remember her name by now. I think it's Vicky, but Vicky's there, so they have a little talk about that. And then of course with Dustin, he's still kind of being a little asshole. I will say probably the best scene from Murray since he was introduced is in this episode. Because Dustin gives him some lip about not getting him all of this stuff on short notice, and his response is brilliant. Not even just laying into him about the fact that he had to do all of this so quickly. So hang some mistletoe, pucker up, and kiss my ass. It was brilliant. And it did kind of put Dustin in his place a little bit because he's being an asshole. And the more it's happening, again, I do understand where he's coming from, but that doesn't mean I think it's okay. It doesn't make him likable right now. So I do feel like people do need to call him out on his bullshit, and Murray doing that in that moment was really, really funny. But the final thing to talk about is Holly with Henry. Don't really know where he's keeping her right now. You can clearly see that he's essentially giving her everything she wants to keep her happy, make sure she doesn't want to leave. But of course, she gets a note from Henry, and the curiosity, the concern for Henry gets the better of her. And at first, I wasn't really sure. I was like, I don't know if this is a good thing, because Henry told her not to go out in the woods, which makes me think maybe she should. But at the same time, he said there are monsters out there. He knows the Demogorgons are in this world. I'm assuming. I don't know if she's actually physically in the Upside Down, or if this is all mental and her body is just there, like strung up somewhere. But so there's a part of me is like, maybe he doesn't want her to go out there because the Demogorgons are out there. Maybe one of them would attack her and he wants to keep her safe for now until he can accomplish whatever goal he has. So then when she heads out there though, and you can see there's somebody else in this cave, I wasn't sure where it was going to go. And then all of a sudden, Max is just there. So I don't know how this is possible. Again, I'm not sure if this place that Holly is in, if it's a mental prison basically, and if it is, then how is Max there? I mean, obviously Vecna did attack Max at the end of last season. 11 brought her back, but maybe it's something where he took her soul or something into him, but because Max managed to bring some of it back, she's kind of trapped in this world, but she has enough willpower to stay away from him. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just sort of spitballing here because this is such a weird twist to have. I'm kind of interested, but also a little worried to see the explanation, because it does feel like this could be we're going to pull something out of our ass to explain why Max is here and how Holly is going to get away from Henry, even though nobody's really there to help her. I don't know. It's an odd one, but it's one I'm holding off my judgment on until I see where it's going to go. But I think that's about it for this episode. Like I said, all in all, it was a fun one. I do know that the 4th episode is kind of the mid-season finale. They paused for a month and released 3 more, and then another week and released the finale. Thankfully, I don't have to wait that long, so we'll see if that helps or hurts my opinion on it. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this first half of the season is going to come to a close. So with all that being said, on to the next episode. I'll see you there. And now, episode 4, Sorcerer. Whew, yeah, this one was intense. So I'm going to try to tackle this bit by bit, just talk about some of the things that stood out in this episode. First of all, with Hopper and Elle, nice to see the return of 8 after all this time. I don't remember what her real name is because it's been that long. But yeah, it's surprising that I didn't even consider that fact. I guess I just assumed we were never going to see her again, that she just disappeared. But no, it makes sense that they would be experimenting on another kid with powers similar to Elle. Although that does beg the question, why did she think 11 was the one doing all of this? Because if she did have access to 8, then I feel like she wouldn't be talking bad about 11. She wouldn't be saying that she's a murderer and all of this. But I don't know, maybe because 8 was kind of a murderer, she assumed 11 was too. But yeah, it's interesting to see her back. I don't know if she's still going to be the same character she was before. For Steve, Dustin, Nancy, and Jonathan, not really much happened. They go to the Upside Down, find out Hawkins' lab is kind of the center of this giant wall that Vecna's created. Be interesting to see how that connects to everything, but outside of that, nothing really interesting happened there. For everybody else, we see them come up with this plan to help save all these kids that have been targeted by Vecna, and I gotta say, using Derek was not something I thought that was going to happen. He just didn't strike me as the kid that would help. But I guess seeing the Demogorgon could turn even the douchiest kids into kids that are willing to help out. But yeah, the plan's pretty clever, I will say. I think it's a little coincidental the way it doesn't work. Them hitting the pipe and then the one kid turning it and spraying the water everywhere, which then alerts one of the kids that's not being called by Henry. But ultimately, none of that matters anyway, because Vecna had already seen what they were trying to do. And I'm sure it would have been a lot worse for our main characters had the military not stepped in and captured some of them. Because at the very least, he had a bunch of NPCs to mow through instead of our main characters. And that whole final fight scene was just absolutely brutal. They did not hold back on a lot of these soldiers. It's hard to see if Sullivan made it out okay, because he was caught on fire, but we didn't actually see him die, I don't think. So I'm kind of curious, because he's been so ruthless as far as the human antagonists go. He's just shooting first, asking questions later. So now that he's seen Vecna and what he's capable of, I was kind of wondering if he's going to try to help out now. I don't know if he'll be capable of doing anything because he's burning alive last time we saw him, but it would be kind of interesting to see this guy who's just been military leader, taking orders, doing all these awful things under orders, and now kind of realizing, oh wait, shit, I'm the bad guy. But we do finally learn a little bit about Vecna's plan. Apparently he wants to kidnap these kids because they make good hosts because they're weak in body and mind. So I don't really know what that will do, why specifically 12 hosts, but we do hear that apparently Will is the first one to give him this idea because he made a great host in the first 2 seasons. The ironic thing about it being that I think that kind of led to this final scene where we see Will essentially using what looks like Vecna's powers. So I feel like because he infected Will all these years ago, it seems like now he's capable of using the powers too. And of course, a lot of that is down to accepting who he is and the conversation he has with Robin. So yeah, it was a really cool moment for Will. Great chance for him to show off what he can do. And now they do have something else to fight back against Vecna. Now, with that being said, I don't know how effective he'll be, because since it is technically Vecna's powers that he seems to be using, I almost kind of feel like Vecna could keep him from using those powers because they originally belonged to him. At least that's my assumption, because to be perfectly honest, I could be completely wrong about this and somehow Will was born with the same powers Henry had. I don't know how that would make sense. It does open up the realm of possibility for how they could take down Vecna now. And I also think it coincides well with what Mike was saying earlier about him being a sorcerer. But the final thing to talk about is Max in this episode. We finally learned what happened. Apparently she got trapped in Henry's memories. Kind of makes sense, I suppose, since every time he does kill somebody, he does take them into himself, like their essence. So even though 11 did manage to bring her back from death, it wasn't all of her. There was still a part of her that was trapped inside of Henry, and so now she's still there. But I thought it was really interesting getting to see her whole journey and how she did manage to get to this place. I'm curious to see why Henry's not able to go into this little location she's found. I don't know if it's similar, kind of like with Billy, how there was that one part of his memory the Mind Flayer didn't seem to access, him on the beach with his mom, like a fun, kind memory. I don't know if it's going to be something like that, where Henry is typically only able to access the darkest memories, the ones that are depressing or stressful. So maybe this is actually going to be a brighter memory for him, something that brought him joy, but he doesn't want to experience it because it dampens his powers or something like that. It's just a theory that came to mind, but I did like getting to see Max's whole journey, because I thought they did a good job of getting all those scenes out without expositing all over the place, which can be difficult at times. But I think that about does it for this episode. It was all around a really good time. I do think it's a good midway point for the season too. Nice mid-season finale climax, I suppose, and builds up well for the rest of the season. Now Vecna has all of the kids, which means he's going to start enacting whatever he plans to do with them. And while our main characters are split up and sort of downtrodden at the moment, they got the shit rocked out of them in this episode, there is that little bit of hope now with Will getting his powers, with 11 and Hopper finding 8. There are these little things that I think bring some hope to the group and gives them a fighting chance of going up against Vecna, because so far, outside of the season 4 finale, we've not really seen them do much to harm him. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the rest of this season. With all that being said, cue the outro. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that review. I hope you enjoyed it. First and foremost, please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I love having discussions with people, so whatever your thoughts were, whether you agree or disagree with me, please leave them down below. Obviously, no spoilers. Also, if you did find yourself enjoying this review and you want to see more, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. I also have a gaming channel as well as a channel where I talk about soccer, so if you want to give those a follow as well, that would be much appreciated. And lastly, if you want to help me improve upon the quality of these channels, I do have a Patreon. All of this is in the description below. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace out.